What is going on, Washington fans? Welcome to the JTFB channel. I told y'all I was gonna have my guy Rio on here. It's been a minute since we've gone live together. Rio, what's going on?
What's going on, man? We are finally here at Life Past
Time.
Dan Snyder and everything he built here, bro. Let's get it.
Look, the first thing I noticed as soon as you got on was the shades. You dropped the video today. I told you it was dropping like a Wayne tape back in high school, man.
Drought 3, bitch. Let's
the
go.
ram, the Rambling with Rio 3. So check that out after we go live here. Probably won't be no more than an hour tonight. But definitely check that out with Matt Miller talking about quarterbacks. There's a lot of discussion with Drake May, Jaden Daniels. I'm going to check it out as soon as we get off here. Can't wait to see it. But tonight we're debating on who the next head coach will be. Maybe it's not even a debate. I'm sure me and Rio can just say the guy that we both want, and it's the same one, and we're going to run with it.
Yeah.
But welcome, guys. Chat's blowing up. Appreciate y'all. Yo is right. It is a great time to be alive, Rio. The next 2 weeks, and we can talk about some of these interviews we got lined up, but I think some of them are some smoke screens. What's going on, DMV fan 123? Appreciate y'all.
What I appreciate most about this is that we have a target that we've locked down on, but we're still going through the process. We're still going through the entire due diligence, thorough vetting, wide net casted process of talking to everybody, pulling information, intel, and building instructions from all these different top offensive minds. What up, John? What up, awesomeness? What up, Super Chef? What up, gang? How y'all feeling? But I like that, Snyder would have, if Snyder said Ben Johnson's my guy, he not interviewing nobody else.
No.
He not going to go to Rooney Rule. He's going to sequester Ben Johnson in a basement and not let him leave until he signs the contract. So we're already moving forward to better days in Washington. And even though we all know who the guy is, we know who the guy is going to be, but we can impartially and objectively talk out all options, though.
And I mean, I agree with you. I think right now, Ben Johnson is the number one target. So let's talk about him for a minute. Obviously, that's my favorite. Is that your favorite as of right now?
Oh, I've been peddling. I've been campaigning for Ben Johnson since October 2022. I've been on it. I'm staying on it, and I'm standing on business. It appears our brass feels the same way because we're about to send the boys on a business trip flight up to Detroit Monday morning to make sure we seal the deal. Tell the Falcons they can holler at them later.
The Falcons are the only team that actually want Bill Belichick right now, which I think is kind of weird. So maybe they just settle with him. But it's funny because, Josh Harris was doing all these interviews in Miami. I'm surprised he's not trying to get Ben Johnson. And then, come on, guys, let's get out of Detroit. Come back down south where it's warm a little bit. I know y'all got a game to play.
It's like you got to woo a girl, though. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to show her just how bad you want her. Baby, you ain't got to come to me. I come to you.
Sometimes you don't have to fly her out, guys. Sometimes you just go to her.
Sometimes you could flew yourself out. You don't got to get her flued out. You can go and fly to her and make it happen.
We did the pre-meeting, so we know Ben Johnson's real. He ain't no IG model that's faking anywhere. We did the interview on Skype, whatever it is, Zoom. He ain't no catfish. He's the real deal. And we've seen that he's the real deal in these games so far and throughout the whole season. I mean, even with Jared Goff, say what you want about Goff, whether you think he's good, whether you think he's bad. What I like about Ben Johnson is how much he gets out of his offense, and especially just work in the middle of the field. And I think it's been going around for a while. Greg Olson was talking about of how successful offenses are when you go under center and on early downs. And Ben Johnson does that more than anybody. And it's been very successful all season long. But Ben Johnson also says, guys, I don't care if it's 2024 now. I'm still going to run the ball. And I know we have Jahmyr Gibbs. It took a while for Jahmyr Gibbs to get going. But even if he wasn't a first-round pick, they run the ball so well. And it helps out. Yeah, it really helps out those early downs where they're passing the ball because your run game is supporting your passing game and vice versa. You're running the ball on first downs, but then also when you go under center, they're doing all these play actions and stuff. Defenses don't know what you're about to do. They have to play both. And so many teams are like, hey, guys, we're going to be in shotgun first down. Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen's going to be back here, and we're just going to throw a 20-yarder on first down. Eventually that stuff just doesn't work. As soon as teams get the tape and they start watching on defense, they're going to figure you out. So you have to keep teams guessing. But then also their offensive line has been very good. And there's talks that his offensive line coach could come over with Ben Johnson to be the coordinator wherever he goes. What's your thought on that? Because he's offensive line coach. Some people are like, oh, he doesn't know offensive schemes and stuff.
And this is what people need to understand. For a team that is going to harp on developing the O-line, having the O-line coach be our coordinator is paramount. Listen, the play caller is the head coach. If you watch the Rams, if you watch the Dolphins, if you watch the Niners, it does not matter who their coordinator is because the head coach is calling the plays. So the offensive coordinator, all he has to do is coordinate like Frank Smith does in Miami. Like Eric Bieniemy used to do, like Eric Bieniemy used to do for Andy Reid. The play caller is going to call the play. Let the offensive. He's a gritty motherfucker. Like Hank Fraley's gritty. He's gonna bring nastiness and big uglies to that room. Ben Johnson. What gets me so giddy and excited about him is how connected a play caller he is. He pulls shit from weeks before and pulls it out later. Like they literally have a tight end who they only scheme up one play for him and it hits every time. They hits every time. It's that delayed blocking flat route that they do to their backup tight end because Ben Johnson is like a technical prize fighter. He's going to snap the jab at you a couple times. And then once he figures out what you're doing, he's coming with the overhand right. He's putting you on the canvas, man. Diabolical play caller, X's and O's genius, and thorough communicator. Because people think when you're an offensive X's and O's guy, you can't lead men. Go listen to everybody talk about him. Go watch his press conferences. That's a voice that knows how to resonate with players. I'm so excited if this is where it's headed. And it looks like all signs are pointing to Benjamin David Johnson.
I love the government name. And I just want to address this question real quick. DMV fan 123 says, what do you say to the people who say Ben Johnson's a better fit for the Falcons? I mean, I think he can fit anywhere. I think the thing that entices him the most is something you talked about. Now, if you look at the 49ers, you go down their coaching staff, there is no offensive coordinator. It is Kyle Shanahan. He's the head coach. He is the offensive coordinator. They do not have someone on their staff that has that label of offensive coordinator.
They got little baby Kubiak in the room, but it's not like a coordinator.
But they have Greasy doing the quarterbacks. You know, they have guys on certain positions, but there's not one guy calling the plays. And even with Ben Johnson, if he brings over his offensive lineman, the thing I like about that is that they're on the same page. And you go back to that Adam Peters press conference. And what's really funny is he said like almost the exact same things that Shanahan said and what Lynch said in their introductory press conferences back on the 49ers like years ago. Dude, it sounds exactly the same.
Aligned division.
Exactly. Aligned. They want everybody to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So Ben Johnson already saying, and there's these rumors. Who was it that came out? Ian Rappaport. No, was it Rapp or was it
Garofalo?
Oh, Garofalo. And it's already coming out. So you have two guys that already work together right now. They're going to come over together. You fill that head coaching spot. You fill the offensive coordinator spot. And they're already on the same page. Josh Harris is drooling over hearing that. He's like, what? We don't have to go get another guy from another team and then hope it works out. Y'all are already on the same page. So I think that's what Washington really likes about Ben Johnson and what he's going to bring over here. But the difference between the Falcons and us, with the Falcons, you do have some really good pieces. Obviously, Bijan Robinson, you got Drake London, you got Pitts, who's not used correctly. I think with Washington, it allows you to really just put your roster together. Not only the salary cap, but the draft and everything. We have the number 2 overall pick. Johnson, and the Falcons need a quarterback too. Raiders not the quarterback next year, but they're in a really bad spot of getting that quarterback. It's probably either going to be Justin Fields, which I don't know if Ben Johnson would want Justin Fields, or it's going to be some other veteran unless they do some crazy trade up to like 3 or 4 or something.
Russell Wilson.
And get some leftover crumbs. Yep. I think Ben Johnson is going to come over here and be like, guys, this is who I want at number 2. Let me work with Drake May. Let me work with Jaden Daniels. Whoever it is. I think that is what really entices him. And then you do have guys like Terry, B-Rob, Sam Cosmi is a staple on this offense. You have some pieces to work with, but they're going to do so much. He can really make the roster on offense. I mean, guys like, I hate to say it, Cole Turner, stuff like that. It's not like they're like, oh, guys, we have to scheme these guys a certain way. He's going to build the roster to where it fits what he wants to do. He's going to get guys in free agency. He's going to get guys in the draft like this. I want that guy because he's going to fit what I want to do. with the Falcons, you already have some really good pieces, but does it work with what he wants to do? I don't know. That quarterback position's not answered yet. And honestly, it's probably going to be Justin Fields. If I had to guess today, it would be Justin Fields. So yeah, the Falcons have a lot of talent, but their quarterback situation sucks. So if I'm a coach, I'm coming over here before I go there.
And they're in that odd position of a GM that's already a GM CEO guy already established. Like Ben Johnson's looking at Washington and saying, we're all completely aligned. New GM, new coach, new quarterback. We're all on the same timeline. We're coming in this together. If we going out, we going out together. There's a method to it. Like everyone on the same accord. That's the type of lockstep you want in taking your first job. Your first job should be a perfect one. I don't think that Atlanta job is it. I think this Washington job is the top job, and I think we're going to get the top candidate. Also, don't forget about the passing game coordinator in Detroit, Tanner Ingstrap. Ben Johnson, I've delved through every interview and press conference that YouTube has to offer that has his voice attached. He says the name Tanner, whatever his name is, the passing game coordinator, young guy, he says his name a lot, early and often, every time he speaks. So that's another person to look out for this Washington staff if he's getting the job, which I expect to be announced next Monday, earlier than later.
I would hope so. And another thing that people have talked about is what he's done with Goff. And once again, I'm not saying Goff is a bad quarterback, but he got sent to Detroit because he wasn't wanted anymore. The Rams did not want him anymore. Like, he was just a forgotten thought. People wrote off Goff. I mean, the first year there was bad. I mean, it was ugly. And it took about 2 or 3 years, but they turned that whole offense around. And he's worked with Goff to where he's building up his strengths. And he still has like 12 interceptions. Goff is going to have those games. He had 3 against the Bears once this year, so that's where a chunk of them came from.
30 touchdowns in 4K. I'll take them 12 interceptions.
I'll take that. But like I said, with the balance that he has with the running game and the passing game, he just makes it a total attack. It's not like we're going to just throw it 80 times a game. And I was looking at stats today with Goff. I think there's about 8 games where he's thrown under 35 times, 36 times, and they won every single one of those games. Balance. I think as soon as he hit over, I want to say it's 35. As soon as he hit over 35 attempts, that's when he started to get these losses. And it was later on in the season when they started stacking up these games where they took care of the ball better. But I also want to talk about this question real quick. But before I do, we got some guys here in the chat. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm going to answer all these questions and stuff. Me and Rio's going to hit them. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And then I've also opened up memberships. It's $2.99 a month. For exclusive perks. I'll be going to the Senior Bowl next week. I'll be doing draft breakdowns, interviews with players, free agency, draft. I'll be at the draft in April. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that membership. It's $2.99 for exclusive perks on the channel. Already got a handful of people in the first week. Appreciate y'all. But EB, is he a lost cause on this staff? We did this interview, and so many people were like, Josh, you said EB wasn't going to get no interviews. First off, how bad would it look if we didn't interview him in-house? Because remember back at the Adam Peters press conference, Josh Harris said, I'm going to talk to Eric Bieniemy. He even said, he didn't say I'm going to interview him for the head coaching job. I get that. But he said, we're going to talk. And people are like, oh, Josh, I told you EB is going to get all these, interviews. Like, teams are going to start coming. They haven't.
All of these.
Where they at? No.
Where they at? No.
Where they at? No. I'm surprised. I'm surprised The Rock and the UFL haven't called him yet. I'm like, bro, not even for an offensive coordinator position. How wild is that?
Yep. I feel like that was goodwill and grace on the side of Josh Harris and Adam Peters. My man got no motion right now. They trying to give him some motion back. Let's interview him. Let's get his name circulated. Let's put EB's name on a press release so NFL teams can remember he's a guy. Nobody wants him right now. Boy got no motion. We're trying to give him some motion back. That conversation probably went, Eric, on the way out, stop by our office real quick. Come meet new general manager Adam Peters. Let's talk about the head coach.
Before you go to Jamaica, let's do a quick interview on the way out.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And on the way out, Cancun on 3.
Send me a Teams invite. We'll go right after lunch. We'll do a quick interview, and then we're going to tweet. Then tell your agent to tweet it out.
So Eric, just tell me, what was behind the thinking of dropping Sam Howell back so many times this year?
And
explanation, leaves.
They said it was very detailed and it went very well.
Now they ain't say that. Josina said that.
But
Josina has an agenda with people she's friends with. And
but
when
bear in mind, we have
Mhm.
not heard anything out of any of the other interviews we did. Not a single, whether it was on Zoom, whether it was in person, we have not heard a single zip out of how any other interview was going except Eric Bieniemy's.
That's by design.
So does he go somewhere? The Bears were supposed to have this interest in Eric Bieniemy for, gosh, it was like weeks ago. People were talking about that. They haven't interviewed him. They haven't put in a request, and they would have done it by now. God, we've been eliminated since week 18, guys. We're almost at the Super Bowl, and Eric Bieniemy has not gotten these interviews yet. What's going on, Radar? Ink_ says, can we finally draft some dogs, some assholes? Tired of these friendly motherfuckers. Also, what do you guys think of Quan Martin can become? First off, Adam Peters is going to draft some dogs, and that's what I'm super excited about this draft, man. Rhea knows I love the draft.
We need some assholes for sure. I definitely agree with that,
man. And it's like good assholes, like George Kittle. He's a great guy, but if you're on the other team, he's an asshole. Yeah, you hate Kittle. You hate, and there's a lot of guys on that 49ers team. Bosa's the same way. He's super quiet and he sounds like this.
Dogs, bro.
But
dogs.
Dude. And you go back and look at their drafts. I know they have some misses. People are going to send me the Trey Lance thing. Like, oh, look what he did, though. I don't care. Look what he's gotten in the 5th round. The Kittle, Greenlaw. Like, he hit some late guys. And you get quality starters in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round every single year. So I'm excited. Quan Martin. I think Quan Martin, under the right coaching, just like a lot of guys on the team. But I feel good about Quan. I think he ended the season really good.
He's going to start here somewhere next year.
I mean, he could either be in the slot, he can put him at safety, whatever you want to do. If we hire Ben Johnson, what QB do you think would be the best for a scheme? Drake May, 1,000,000%.
I think they're going to have a long conversation about this, but I would say Drake May. But if they went Daniels, I get it. Ben Johnson can say, I know what's worked with me, but what could really take my offense to the next level is a running quarterback. But me personally, I think it would be Drake May is the fit. It has nothing to do with him also going to North Carolina. Like, yeah, I think you can work with 6'5" mobile ball distributor. Like, I think that Ben Johnson can definitely take those tools of a 21-year-old and make magic with it. So, hey, back to EB real quick. EB can be the running back coach. I think that's his best bet. I think he's going to be someone's running back coach.
Because he played running back at Colorado.
Yeah, and he coached up the running backs in Kansas City and when AP was in Minnesota. He may go back to his roots, running back coach.
I like Jennifer, though.
I would never let, honestly, the whole staff could go. I don't want anyone brought back. I love Ryan Kerrigan. I think everybody should go. But Eric Bieniemy best bet is someone's running back room, because I'm not letting EB within 100 feet of any quarterback room ever again.
Yeah, there's just so many questionable things that people are like, oh no, he's deserving. I'm not gonna say any names, but there's people out there that name themselves after farm animals that will sit there and tell you the most outrageous takes on sports radio. And sit here and say, like, oh, he deserves a head coaching job. So I'm like, what did he do? What did he do last year that said he should be a head coach? We had one of the worst offenses in the league, man.
Yeah, it was bad.
One of the worst. But I'll finish this question up with saying I think it's Drake May, because if you watch the Drake May tapes, what he's really good at is between the numbers. What he does in the middle of the field at all 3 levels, it really aligns with what Ben Johnson does right now for the Lions. Once again, Laporta been a huge pick for them. He eats across the middle, and then there's always somebody open. And you talked about it earlier. There's both games in the playoffs so far. They played 2, right? Yeah. Both games in the playoffs so far. You go back and watch it. They'll do one play like twice, but he spaces it out. And then he comes back with that third one. It looks like they're going to do it again.
Connected play calling, baby.
And it just like, it'll be like a fake screen to the running back, and then he like golf turns, and like you said, like it looks like Laporta is about to block on like a screen or something, and then he comes off of it. He's just like wide open across the middle, and he runs like 30 yards.
Ben Johnson gives you multiple play designs off the same look. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. He's always a step ahead of the defense. He's playing chess out there. I don't know how everybody doesn't see that at this point.
Yeah, it's just really good play calling, but also like he has the pieces to do it, and we need a tight end so bad too. Like, and that's another thing. I would love Ben Johnson because he knows what to get as a tight end. Is there any worries about Ben Johnson's leadership
No.
qualities? I saw that on X too. People are like,
No.
oh, he's not like a loud.
That's the new old man boomer thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's getting rid of leaders of men. Get Bill out of here. Vrabel, Rivera. Get these leaders of men. Like, Mike McDaniel ain't no leader of men, but he got the Dolphins booming.
I do like Vrabel though. I do like Vrabel.
I do like him. Kyle Shanahan, not a leader of men. Sean McVay, not a leader of men. You don't need to be a leader of men. Ron Rivera is a great leader of men. He's one of the worst football coaches I've ever seen.
Hey, he about to go to Philly. We cooking.
Oh yeah, like bro, like oh yeah, let it please. We pray for times like Ron coaching the Eagles defense. Leader of men is overrated as hell. Leader of men shit is for casual football talk, bro. Like that shit. If you know the game and you can communicate it thorough enough that it resonates with player, you're a leader of men. Period.
I am assuming that if Ben is the head coach, he would go after Drake May. I'm not opposed to grabbing Fields, but I'm taking Jaden Daniels before I trade for Fields.
I have less than zero interest in Justin Fields.
I have like 5%.
Through 3 years of NFL career, Justin Fields still can't hit layup and routine throws. I have less than zero interest in trading any asset for a guy that's going to be due a contract a year from now. Hell no. No interest. I'd rather draft no knees, no shoulders Michael Penix than Justin Fields. And I have 0% interest in Michael Penix. So that should tell you how interested I am in Justin Fields.
Yeah, I don't want Michael Penix. I'm excited to see Michael Penix at the Senior Bowl. I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah, that's lit.
Ask him some questions and stuff. But him and Bo Nix slinging it. That's fun. Appreciate you, CJ. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And like I said, hit that membership button. Only $2.99 a month for exclusive stuff. We're going to be doing live streams all off season. No doubt about it. Some in-depth stuff as well. The Bears hired Waldron as the OC.
I like it.
They're definitely going to Caleb Williams, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, make sure if you talk to Penix and Nix at the Senior Bowl, ask them how their grandchildren are doing.
Bo Nix left his son years ago. That was back at Auburn. He left his son. We're not going to go down that trail.
Left to go
look
get
it up. He didn't just transfer in football. He transferred in life too. He got out. Bradley said, "Who would our defensive coordinator be?" I have some feelings about this. If we can somehow, and the only way this happens, if we can somehow land Anthony Weaver as our defensive coordinator,
that's fire.
That'd be fire. But if Mike McDaniel leaves, he's getting promoted because he's already assistant head coach. He would get promoted instantly to defensive coordinator if Mike McDonald goes somewhere else, which honestly, it kind of sounds like Mike McDonald. I don't think he goes anywhere.
I think him and Slowick may sit a year and be the top of the class next year. I think Wink Martindale is going to be our defensive coordinator.
And I said that, and people like, heck no, blah, 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 blah. And I like the way he draws up pressures. I like what he got out of that Giants defense, which I know they had Kayvon Thibodeau, who's he's hit or miss. He's like a flash in the pan. Banks looked really good his first season. Shout out to my guy Xavier McKinney. He's been there for a little bit. But like outside of that, who do they have?
Yeah, they don't really have guys there yet.
But every Giants game I watch, it's like, holy shit, no one's scoring on the Giants.
Yeah, he left willingly. He left because he was about to run Brian Daboll a fade. He left because it was a hostile environment and he was about to have to knock out his head coach. He didn't get fired. Wink Martindale. Don't forget about who Wink was in Baltimore when you look at the resume and you know the affinity for the Baltimore organization that we hear our ownership group has. It wouldn't surprise me if Wink Martindale, because there's not as many options as people think available out there for defensive coordinator right now, unless we bring a guy like Chris Harris Jr. back or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, in a dream world, you would go get like the Bengals defensive coordinator who has been brought up plenty of times for head coaching spot. Yeah, he's been that's cooled down big time. But like, if you can somehow persuade someone like from a defensive coordinator somewhere else to come over here, then that's the move. Like I said, if Anthony Weaver, if it's like a guy that's not a defensive coordinator yet, he's like the number one pick. Like
Jalen brought up a unique name when he said John Fox. John Fox is a senior defensive assistant for the Lions right now. We know the guy from the 757, lots of years of head coaching experience.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
No, I forgot. I didn't know John Fox was still in the league. That's a candidate for DC because people love to pair up young offensive head coaches with old former head coach, defensive coordinator. So Jalen might have been cooking with something when he brought up Johnson.
Yeah, and then we're gonna add Mark Brunell from the Lions. He's gonna come back over here as the quarterback coach. We're gonna just have like the Avengers of coaches on the team now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, in a dream world, it's gonna be Weaver. But if it's not, I mean, I could see Chris Harris, man. The Titans were kind of hit or miss too, but once again, they traded like their best safety, Buyer. Like he didn't really have much to work with. So give him a chance. But Wink, everyone's like, oh, he's old. I don't want retreads, blah, 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 blah. Maybe. But at the same time, if that's the guy, I'm not gonna be pissed.
I'm cool with retreads for coordinator. I just didn't want one for the head coach. And I think there are some interesting retreads like Raheem Morris.
What if Vrabel? What if the second wave of coaching doesn't work out? We get to that second wave, like right after the Super Bowl, and Vrabel's still out there. And he comes as a DC. Bro, that'd be cooking.
Hey, we call him the assistant head coach / defensive coordinator. Oh, that's the Avengers, bro. We
give him that little title, here, bro. Assistant to the head coach, the Dwight Schrute of the team.
Dwight Schrute. Oh my God, we running the office over here, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yes, that legendary one. Hit that thumbs up, y'all. Appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button.
Sub them up.
Leader of men is a joke of the NFL. Although players don't care about motivation, rah. And I agree with that. But the thing is, this whole team checked out after that Bears game. We needed something. Like, we need to start doing what Nick Saban does when he was bringing in all these celebrities every week to talk in. That's what we needed. We needed someone to come in and talk every single week because the players had no interest on being on this team.
This year was always going to feel that way unless there was success immediately because everybody knew the writing was on the wall for Riverboat. Everybody knew Ron knew Ron was gone, except the owners pretty much already told him, like, we're going to give you the year, though. No matter how bad it gets, we're going to give you the whole year, and they stuck to their word. But you can't blame guys for getting checked out when they already saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Now, you know? I'm just catching up on some news here. I've been busy today. But like you said, we're flying out to see Ben Johnson. But we're also flying out to see Aaron Glenn while we're there. A little 2-for-1 deal. Love it. What do you think on not only just Glenn, but it seems like there's a real smoke with Dan Quinn and then also Raheem Morris.
I think Raheem Morris is the guy if Ben Johnson, for whatever reason, chooses another opportunity. I think all the eggs are in the Ben Johnson basket, but I think he's the runner-up. He's the consolation prize if we go Ben Johnson. Raheem Morris is a very good coach. He's more than a leader of men. He went through what Louis T calls Shanahan University, where when you coach for the Shanahans as a young guy, they put you through the ringer on both sides of the ball. You need to coach on the offensive and defensive side. Through his time in Atlanta, through his time in Washington, he's coached offensively and defensively, and he's got a good unit over there in LA with some young pieces over there. Raheem Morris deserves a second chance to be a head coach. He's not just a Rooney Rule interview. I understand the interest, but I hope he waits for the right opportunity and doesn't jump at something like Carolina because it's all that's for him.
No. Stay
all the way. Seattle, please hire Dan Quinn. I'm cool. Dan Quinn is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. No interest in him being my head coach. Please go to Seattle. They're talking about him and Chip Kelly up in Seattle.
That's fine. That has nothing to do with us.
Hey, go rebuild the Legion of Boom. You go have at it as a successor to Pete Carroll.
Run that triple option like it's 2012, Chip.
Oh, yeah. I think it's Raheem Morris and Mike McDonald. But I really think McDonald may be waiting for next year. McDonald and Slowick may be just the top of the class for next year and let this thing play out how it's happening. Because it looks like Chargers and Harbaugh is about to be done. If it's
that's
not
tonight, dude. Tonight. I don't see it getting past midnight. We're gonna get hit with that 12:01 a.m. on the. I'm in Central Time, and it's gonna be one of those West Coast alerts that we get at 1 a.m. Breaking news, Harbaugh's gone, by the way.
The Panthers are going to end up going with like a Canales because that's the best they can do. And he's a good offensive mind, good young offensive mind to pair with Bryce Young. The Falcons are literally the only, if you want to call it, obstacle in the way of us and Ben Johnson. And I don't think that's going to happen. They're having a power struggle between Rich McKay and Bill Belichick because Bill wants all power and their CEO type guy ahead in their front office is like, nah, we're not doing that over here.
He wants that Ron Rivera tag, that GM too.
He wants that de facto president hat.
I mean, it's better with what they had with Arthur Smith. I'll say this. I agree with you. I don't think Mike McDonald gets hired as a head coach anywhere unless we lose Ben Johnson. Then I think he's a good target. But I don't think Slowick and I don't think McDonald gets head coaching jobs this year. Like that might be a hot take, but dude, I agree with you. That's something I was thinking about today, just going through who's left. Because there's not many. I mean, the Raiders filled their spot. Like I said, the Chargers, it's 99% going to be Harbaugh. They're just trying to figure out the power stuff. Jim Harbaugh wants a lot of control. And he's going to get it. Now, when you look at the updated odds for the Washington's head coaching search, right now, Ben Johnson's a favorite by a good bit, minus 150.
Easy money.
That's very favorable. That's like Christian McCaffrey scoring a touchdown next game.
Anytime touchdown, McCaffrey, count it.
It's so guaranteed they bumped it to 2. You can't get less than 2 touchdowns for Christian McCaffrey.
Hey, I'm not going to take lightly how he said fantastic with his whole mouth when they asked him about Adam Peters. He said, everything I've heard about Adam Peters is fantastic. He put his whole damn jaw into that fantastic, bro. Come on
right
now.
To the camera.
When we hired Rick Spielman as an advisor, Rick Spielman's brother is the best linebacker in the history of the Detroit Lions and the current team president for the Detroit Lions. We went in with targets and we went in with a plan, and the chess is taking place right before our eyes. Ben Johnson in DC is happening, y'all.
And we talked about Raheem Morris. He's the second favorite right now, plus 225. That's fine with me. I wanted to go back to Raheem Morris because I don't think he gets enough respect. I really like Raheem Morris. I remember back in training camp, I came to Virginia. I went to the training camp. You and me, we were there. We saw it. I went back home. I'm watching the NFL where it's like around camp or whatever. Dude, they were talking about the Rams defense. They're like, guys, this defense is going to be so bad.
Yep.
Like they are going to be hanging on for your dear life with Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald needs to have a Hall of Fame season. This defense is going to be rough. The Rams have not had a first or second round pick since they were back in St. Louis.
Yeah,
it's been so long,
and they still competitive. They're still getting the most out of young players. They're still developing young talent on both sides of the ball, man. Raheem Morris had a very bad shake at his first head coaching opportunity. He had Josh Freeman playing quarterback.
They've had about 4 or 5 rookies start on defense, like in key positions, like the defensive line. They're feasting right now. And then in a secondary, I think the only Witherspoon's like the only guy that's really over 28. I think he's right at 28, and everyone else is like 24 and under on the defense.
Yep.
Besides Aaron Donald, obviously, who's like 40. So people like, what's the big deal with Raheem Morris? Why do people like him? Blah, 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 blah. He really just gets the most out of his players. That's something I've been wanting for so long now. You don't want to give up on Forbes. You're hoping that Deron Payne and John Allen can play their best. Then Raheem Morris is your guy.
Yep.
If you think that the defense has talent, Cam Curl, if you're going to pay him, then get a guy like Raheem Morris who can get the most out of them. Like if it came out tomorrow, breaking news, Washington has agreed to terms with Raheem Morris being head coach, I'd be hyped.
I'd get it. I'd totally get it. I would honestly and objectively, my heart would drop a little bit because I had a target in mind.
Yeah, Ben Johnson's the guy.
I would totally understand if we hired Raheem Morris to be our next head coach. He's a very capable and qualified candidate, and he definitely deserves another shot, bro. Nobody had a chance to succeed if Josh Freeman was his starting quarterback when you were a head coach. And Josh Freeman was ass.
Oh, he's bad. And I think that Morris would bring some guys from the offense to help as offensive coordinator too, whether it's passing game coordinator or because I mean, like I said, McVay does just about everything over there. But and I think no matter who we hire, that's how I think the coordinator positions are going to go. Maybe obviously not both of them. You can't bring a whole coaching staff over here. But like with Ben Johnson bringing over his offensive line coach, or if it was Mike McDonald, I can see him bringing over Weaver as defensive coordinator, something like that. It's going to be that's what I really do want as a pairing, though. If it is Morris, I don't really know what we're going to do with offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That's like my only hesitation. Once again, they've got to be aligned with Adam Peters and Josh Harris's vision.
And there's not too many offensive and defensive coordinators just floating around out there right now. So connections matter.
Slim. I
mean,
these like
Adam Peters and Johnson connections are going to have to matter, and they're going to have to make shit shake.
Let's see. A couple questions got a little bit behind here. How do Howell and May college careers compare? They don't. The only thing I will say I was really big on Hal, still love Hal. But what people don't realize about Drake May is last year he had Josh Downs. This year he had nobody. Tez Walker has been
Came
good.
later. Yeah, he missed.
Yeah.
He didn't get to play at the beginning of the season.
He missed 5 or 6 games. But then even with that, Tez Walker is one of the worst wide receivers after the catch in college last year. Like, it's bad. He's in like he's like 100 and something ranked after the catch last year. So like he had no help. And they had a really good run game with Amari and Hampton, who's like a top 5 running back next season.
Hal played with hella talent when he was at UNC, and he started an additional year on Drake May. And that's Drake May only started 2 years. You're getting more of Clay with Drake May. Drake May is still 21 years old. So there's
he's not 22 until almost week 1 next season.
Yeah, there's so much untapped potential, and I'm okay with a guy not being a finished product or peaking in college. I'm okay with there still being some ceiling to tap into. So if that's the way we go, I would totally understand it. Do not lazily make them a comp to each other.
They are not the same.
Just because they're best friends. And also, the whole them being best friends thing, I think that works for a quarterback room. 2 guys that are real life best friends. No one's rooting for you more than your best friend. Sam Howell will gladly back up his best friend.
Yeah, Sam Howell's not a diva.
Sam Howell's a great guy, and he loves Drake May. That's his brother. They work out, they travel together, they hang out with each other. Like, they are like family. That would be a totally cohesive quarterback room with no ego or no jealousy involved. It'll just be a trio of UNC boys with Ben Johnson, Howell, and Drake May.
The trio, the trifecta. Merle brings up a little nugget here. Peters didn't control the first 3 rounds with the Niners. Well, good. He had nothing to do with Trey Lance, and he was finding nothing but diamonds and gems in after the 3rd round.
So what you're saying is he did the real work in the draft.
Yeah.
The first couple rounds, that's easy work.
Shanahan and Lynch were just throwing picks, hoping they worked, hoping that Trey Lance would turn into some generational guy.
When the Kittles and Fred Warners and shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. Dre Greenlaw in the 5th round.
Man.
And another thing with like May, like people's like, yes, he's obviously taller, which does matter a lot. But like from a passing standpoint, I think Drake May is the better passer than Hal was coming out. Hal has a stronger arm. I think Hal's got a cannon of an arm.
More velocity, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not everything. Like, you want to talk about touch. And I'm sure you talked about this with Matt Miller, like how Drake May can hit all 3 levels of the field, how he can just control the touch of the ball. Sam Howell, like so many times, whether they're short, middle, long, it's just coming 100 miles an hour every time.
Coming in hot.
And you can't always do that. Like, there's a lot of big differences. We're not going to.
And for the people who, like, I love how much Jaden Daniels can change a game with his leg. Drake May ran for 700 yards. Drake May ran for 700 yards at 6'5", 230 in Caucasian. Yeah. He ran for 700 yards this year. So that boy can scoot. That is a mobile, hyper athlete, 6'5", 230 quarterback.
For his size, that's crazy too.
That's damn near a dual threat quarterback. So
and the thing about Jaden Daniels is he is a killer with his feet. The thing he will have to do, though, is work through those progressions going across the middle, which I think Ben Johnson can absolutely work with that. I think Ben Johnson can help him out because, like I said, that's what he specializes in, like going through those progressions, spreading the ball out. A lot of his big throws were to the hashes. Brian Thomas deep because he's wide open, or Malik Neighbors. Those are both top 20 picks. Once again, like, obviously, it's good that he had talent, but it's not a bad thing. But he's got to work through those middle read progressions, staying in the pocket, going through everything. It's just like when he would run out, he wouldn't throw it that much anyways. But if he did, it's going to the sidelines. Like, it was the same thing. But he put up ungodly numbers. Once again, I would still be hyped with Jaden Daniels, but it's just like a pairing-wise, Drake May, and people don't want to hear this. It might take him a year. Because, like, you want to compare him to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was in Oregon, like, for 4 years. Like, he played a ton of football. Drake May hasn't played a ton. Then he also switched offensive coordinators. He had Phil Longo his first year, and I forgot the new guy's name. Phil Longo was the same guy that Sam Howell had through his whole career. Yep.
And May did magic with him.
Yep. And then people are like, oh, everyone left North Carolina. Technically, they did, but Ty Chandler ran for like 1,200 yards with Sam Howell. And he had Josh Downs, who's had a really good rookie season, by the way, with the Colts. He had 100 catches and like 1,000 yards at North Carolina too. Drake May did not have someone of that caliber on the offense this year. Once again, Tez Walker's good. I think he's a borderline first-round pick. I don't think he's a top 6, top 7 receiver in this draft with as loaded as the draft is, but it's just not even the same. But I think Drake May, if you give him a year or two, can turn into something special. And maybe it turns into a Jordan Love thing. Would you be fine with that? If Drake May just looks like how Jordan Love looked in this playoffs after 2 years?
So is Howell gonna start until he's ready?
No, he's starting. Drake May's starting off the rip.
Okay, oh yeah. Because I'm about to say it depends on like I want him to like I'm all for just putting him out there and let him take his lumps and grow with them. Yeah. But it's different when like we knew what was happening with Sam. I don't know why people turn a blind eye to the fact that next crew didn't pick him. Like you obviously have to judge him in a snapshot thing in year 2 picked by another regime. That's different than if we draft May and he goes out and has a Howell type rookie year, because this is the guy we have already stamped as the future. So we got to grow with him regardless. With Sam, it was an audition. This isn't an audition for whoever we draft at number 2. We are hitching our entire wagon into their rookie contract.
Yep. And like you said, bringing all those guys together, the North Carolina connection might be something. Maybe it doesn't. But it's good. And we see the videos of, Ben Johnson working with Sam Howell at the Senior Bowl, how he just is with quarterbacks, interacting with them. I think that's what we've seen a lot.
Person. Yeah. He's I don't know why
he's not a leader. Just because you don't see him yell it on TV.
Yeah, you don't gotta be a rah-rah beat your chest. Look at Jonathan Allen. What is all that rah-rah and got us to do on Sunday? He got the most rah-rah leader of men voice there is. What do we do after he does that? Doesn't mean anything. It's all for shits and giggles. That's not for everybody. Justin Herbert's the most quiet person in the room, and he's going to go out and throw for 404 tutties on Sunday. Doesn't matter.
And Michael brings up a good point. Hank joining Ben Johnson as well as huge developed offensive line. Yeah, well, like I said, dude, Sam Cosmi, the season's not over yet, but he's about to finish as a top 6, top 7 guard, not just right guard, left and right. He's about to finish as one of the top guards in the NFL this season. He's been lights out.
Hell yeah, he better be ready to get on his horse, because that gap scheme offense requires a lot of pulling guards, a lot of movement as you're blocking away from where the ball's going. So there's going to be a lot of moving. There's going to be a lot of guard movement in our offense going forward if this is the hire.
And, I mean, we got to rebuild the line. So you might as well bring in both of these guys. I mean, you see how that line plays behind Hank. Ragnow had like a fractured knee, a broken foot, and like all kinds of stuff last game. And he was like, I'm not coming out the game. I'm going right back in, y'all. Like, they just have such a gritty team. Then you got Penei Sewell. This is a really good offensive line draft class. And free agency has some dudes. You've got like Dotson on the Rams. That's someone I'm keeping an eye on.
Brown from the Patriots.
Yeah. Maybe Connor Williams, center for Miami. Radar says Jonah Jackson, guard for the Lions. Maybe he comes over with them.
You know who's a lot coming? You know who's a lot coming in free agency? Josh Reynolds. He's a lot. We badly need.
I got my lot.
We got a big body receiver need on this offense. Throw Jahan's frail ass in the slot and put Josh Reynolds outside opposite Terry.
I'm gonna be hurt because my thought process is Mike Evans, Xavier Leggett, one of these guys. It's gonna be Josh Reynolds.
We ain't getting Mike Evans, my friend.
No, he better get the bag. But my lock is Azeez Al-Shaair. He only signed that 1-year deal with the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Pierce is gonna bring him back. He's a young dog.
You saw him on the field getting hyped with the Niners, like he still play for him on Sunday?
I would too. I'm like, give me my ring.
That's culture, bro. That is culture. When current players of other teams will come get lit with you.
So Sam did lose all of his weapons, but he still got good weapons. Like Ty Chandler was a beast. I said, Josh Downs became the 4th ever wide receiver in ACC history to have 100 catches in a season, had 1,000 yards. Josh Downs was a stud. Drake May does not have a Josh Downs on that team. Like I said, Tez Walker, he's like, 6'2", 205. He's good, but he's not on that level. He doesn't have anybody on that team. And like I said, first 6 games, he didn't even have him.
Look at the wide receiver rooms that Penix and Daniels have. They have most
Penix has one of the best wide receiver rooms all time.
Ever. Like, bro.
That's Alabama in 2020 style.
Polk McMillan and Odunze, Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. and LSU. Like, bro, their receivers do half the job for them at those programs. I'm not gonna knock you for having weapons, though. I'm not that guy. But
no.
There's definitely levels because Caleb and Drake had a lot less to work with in their programs, though.
And dude, in North Carolina had so many drops too. Like I'm watching some games. Drake May is not the perfect prospect. I'll say that.
Hell no.
He doesn't have the pass. Like his footwork is not perfect. But by God, there are some throws I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then it's dropped so many times. I'm watching these games. I'm like, dude, he didn't. There's so many more. Like if you're worried about stats, there's so many more left empty stats that was on that field this season by guys that were just dropping stuff. Caleb says, hear me out.
And while while Drake develops as a passer, just like Josh Allen did early in his career, he has his legs to fall back on. Drake May is not as raw as Wyoming Josh Allen. Josh Allen was completing like 50% of his passes, but he had the legs and the wicked arm to lean on while the passing developed. I don't think Drake May is that level of raw.
No, I think he's a little bit more developed. And it's so funny. Don't tell people he went to Wyoming, and people are going to tell us to just draft whatever quarterback's coming out of Wyoming. All the helmet scouters out there like Drake May. Oh, he went to North Carolina. Heck no, I don't want him.
Can't draft Stroud. He went to Ohio State. Look what happened with Haskins and Fields.
Thank God. Once again, I'm fine if Jay Daniels is the pick at 2.
Same.
I will say this. Kuiper has been off his rocker for the last few years. He hasn't been the most accurate guy.
Daniel Jeremiah is someone who I pay close attention to. Daniel Jeremiah pretty much came on NFL Network 3 days before the draft and was like, Washington loves Emmanuel Forbes. And I was like, what?
Why?
What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean they love him? Like, they'll take him. Yeah, Daniel Jeremiah, I think it was like 2 days before the draft. He pretty much told us all it was going to be Emmanuel Forbes. I was nah, he's
like,
wild.
Shut that up. Ain't going to happen.
Jeremiah's wild. Ain't no way they love Forbes. They probably like him. And then he was so correct. Chose him over Gonzo.
I'm still not going to forgive him for that. Cosme needs to be on this team for a long time. And I'm not moving him back out to right tackle.
Nope.
Stay at right guard, man. Jay Daniels and Ben Johnson's offense sounds intriguing. I agree. So as it looks, especially with the quarterback situation we have, I think that is why I do lean towards Ben Johnson. Like I said, I do like Raheem Morris, but what does Raheem Morris look like with a rookie quarterback? But also, I've said this too, it really depends. Like, how much responsibility does your head coach have for your development of your quarterback? That's the offensive coordinator's job, right?
Yeah, well, in Ben Johnson's case, everything, because he's the play caller, like, and that's what people need to not forget when they think about, oh, he's bringing his O-line coach. He's bringing his O-line coach to coordinate and to coach, but don't get it twisted. It's Ben Johnson's offense, and he's the one calling plays. Like, just look at the Niners, look at the Rams, look at the Dolphins. Those are all play. Look at the Bengals with Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's OC just got a job last night. Shout out to Brian Callahan, son of Bill.
Yeah, he's going with them.
Yep, he's gonna go with him.
Yep, he said he's bringing him with him.
He's bringing his dad.
That is pretty high. That is high. Hey, he's a really good offensive line coach.
He is a great.
I'll say that.
He had us playing the most prehistoric Mesozoic football I've ever seen, bro.
Could Ben Johnson fix Sam? It's just at what point, like, you just have to know, like, what is his ceiling? You can't turn Sam Howell into Peyton Manning. Yeah. Like, and that's what people don't realize with these prospects. Like you said with Josh Allen, the Bills saw the ceiling of Josh Allen, and he needed some work. It took 2-3 years, but he got there. But it's just like, what can you do with this prospect? What is their ceiling? What can they do for you? And can Sam be that guy? There's just so many times last year I saw where it's like, he's missing the easy stuff, man.
Yep.
Like,
he's not seeing open receive, and like there's layup check downs there that could like produce yards, and he's not taking them. But I think we just got to stop trying to make fetch happen, man. Like, we got to stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop settling.
Like, bro.
Like, swing. If you miss, so what? Just be glad you swung.
Put yourself in the shoes of the Texans last year. Can you imagine the Texans saying, we like CJ Stroud, but we're going to rock with Davis Mills?
No. That would have been no. You have to swing. If you miss, you miss. But if you're the 49ers, it doesn't matter. You're just going to go to the Super Bowl the next year anyway. Like,
the Bills gave the Chiefs the greatest weapon of all time. The Bills traded down 17 spots with the Chiefs with a quarterback room of Nathan Peterman, Joe Webb, and Tyrod Taylor. Is that what y'all want? That's what we turning down Watson and Mahomes for that.
And reading the replies, the comments to that was so funny. People were like, Watson's better than Mahomes. What are they doing? But I will say the pick that they got the next year from the Chiefs turned into Josh Allen. So in the long run, I guess it works out, except you gave the Chiefs the gun.
They had the maneuver. They had to trade up twice to get Allen, though.
Yeah.
Like they had to move up 2 times in the draft to get Josh Allen that year when they could have Mahomes. But hey, now the reason that they get sent home every year, they gifted him. You hate to see it full circle moment like that.
I've had people tell me trade back and let the Giants get whoever like fall. Do you really want them to get like Jaden Daniels and then he kills us every year?
Every single year. They already beat us with nobody. They beat us with Tommy Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets and Daniel Jones. We do need a tight end badly, and I'm telling y'all, write the name down. Ben Sinnott is my guy. I'm going to be at his hip at the Senior Bowl. He is one of my favorite tight end prospects in this draft. He's a gem. He wears number 34.
Ugly, nasty,
ugly,
nasty.
He won the fullback of the year award. That's how good he is. He was the top rated receiving and blocking tight end. I don't call him a tight end. He just screams a 49ers type weapon. Like he's like if you took Kyle Juszczyk, shout out to Juszczyk, by the way, putting on for his wife, and George Kittle, put them together. That's Ben Sinnott right there, guys. I need him.
I like number 0 out of Texas.
Oh, dude.
T. Sanders, baby.
He's really good too. Man, but he's going to be like a top. He's going to be like a second round pick. But I think Sinnott, you're going to get him in like the 4th round, and people are going to be like, who's this guy? And he's a tight end 1 caliber guy. Make sure nothing's popped out yet. Falcons completed their second head coaching interview tonight with Rams defense coordinator Raheem Morris. And then I think we have Dan Quinn tomorrow.
They have familiarity with Raheem Morris. I don't even know why they would need to talk to him that much. He was just in that building when Dan Quinn was there.
Yeah.
They're really gonna interview Belichick twice and not give him the job.
I think that you were right with Belichick just wants too much control, and they're just gonna be like, no, can't do that.
Arthur Blank gonna have to look at Cuz and say, all right, it's KSU or Belichick. Like, what we doing right now, bro? Like, it's Belichick, bro. They need that. They need Bill Belichick down there.
And if I had to guess the quarterback for the Falcons next year, it's going to be either Justin Fields or watch for Kirk Cousins.
I say Kirk if it's Belichick because I don't see Belichick having the patience for
Heck
Justin
no,
Fields.
he's done that.
Not bringing in Justin. Belichick is not bringing in Justin Fields.
And he's not getting a rookie. If it is, it's Bo Nix.
Kirk in Atlanta is fire. Like Kirk in Atlanta is fire.
That's a good squad too. Like he gonna put up them Kirk stats.
Or if Baker hits free agency, Baker makes it. Belichick loves.
They're gonna bring him back. Tampa Bay is gonna bring him and Antoine Winfield, and sadly Mike Evans is gonna get paid too. Mr. 1000 going to get paid.
Whole team's on the free agent list.
Yeah, they got a lot. Michael said, "Who do you guys think we need to go after free agency? Linebacker, corner, RT, LT, possibly safety. Throw the money on the defense." Man.
Pray that one of these edges actually hits the market.
Yeah, I don't know if Burns does.
Allen definitely will not hit the market. Josh Allen
shouldn't. No, shouldn't. AJ Epineza, Daniil Hunter, Bryce Huff is my guy.
Wow, jinx.
Bryce Huff is my dude.
We're so signing Josh. We're signing Huff or Uche.
Oh yeah, and that's fine. Josh Uche or Bryce Huff. There's no way the Jets pay Bryce Huff because they have so much depth. They've invested so much draft capital. Jermaine Johnson on that team, was it like 2 years ago they got Jermaine Johnson? They've got way too many dudes on the edge. And
Jalen Johnson, cornerback, Chicago Bears. If he hits free agency,
there's no way Poles lets that boy go.
Yeah,
he could have traded him and he didn't. I think that speaks. Uche. And but Huff is my number 1 guy. Absolutely agree with you on that.
I can see it.
Let's see. Philip says the question is, does May have Josh Allen arm talent? What is May? I'll say he doesn't have like the strength, but he has a pretty deep ball. If he can get his base worked out a little bit cleaner, which that's fixable. I want a quarterback that has fixable stuff. Josh Allen in college had a pretty shaky base, but people saw his arm talent and was like, we can work with this guy.
And I have a different ceiling for him than most people have. Go continue though, my bad.
If I had to compare him to anyone, I think it is Justin Herbert. I think like
that's most people's comp for him.
And maybe there's a little bit of Jared Goff in there, but I don't want to say that to scare people away, which is not a bad thing.
He has a lot of gamer and a lot of hero to his game, but he gives me Phillip Rivers with legs vibes. Like I see Rivers. I see Rivers is gonna get a gold jacket one day, bro. Yeah. Like if he hits, I see Phillip Rivers without a wonky release and that can run. Like if Phillip Rivers could like actually had foot speed and could move around like Drake May, that's what I see for ceiling for him. You know, Phillip Rivers only had foot speed in the bedroom to push out children, but on the football field, not his cup of tea.
Yeah, my boy loved going under center. It's the thing with Phillip Rivers though is just he had Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. He's like, guys, we can't win a ring. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna light it up.
They went 15-1 one year. I was like,
yeah, but look what I got to face. I just remember watching the AFC Championship game every year growing up. It was either Chargers, Colts, Chargers, Patriots, Patriots, Colts. That trifecta. And now Josh Allen's stuck doing the same thing as Phillip Rivers did. Like he's not gonna beat Patrick Mahomes ever. But I do like that though with Phillip Rivers. It's just the thing I think that Drake May has that really reminds me of Herbert is that touch. There were so many passes this year where Herbert was like running out of the pocket and he would just kind of, and it would just float and it would just drop right in the hole to Keenan Allen. I'm like, yo. And dude, it doesn't make any sense, but Justin Herbert is disrespected so much by so many people that like just don't watch him. But then you'll see people comparing like, oh, like, or this quarterback's not like Justin Herbert though. Like, so you're trashing Justin Herbert, but then you're sitting there saying like, oh, so-and-so is not as good as Justin Herbert. So you're saying he's good. Yeah, which I think Justin Herbert's phenomenal, by the way.
And also, like Justin Herbert's the most productive quarterback through 4 years in the history of football. Like if you're watching, you'd realize how good Justin Herbert is. Do you have a draft crush that you need here in Washington? Because I got two guys that play the same position. I need one of them here in DC. Do you have like someone you love in the draft for this team?
All right, let's do this. Pick. Is yours on offense or defense?
Defense.
Defense. So I'm gonna pick a defensive one first, and then we'll do offense. Right, defense.
I'll start while you think. Okay. I need Cam Kinchins or Tyler Nubin. I need one of those safeties here in DC. Bro.
Next Sean Taylor, Cam Kinchins, baby.
Cam Kinchins the best Miami safety since Sean, by the way. Yeah. He's so good. I need him in the second round, bro. I need Cam Kinchins in the second round, bro. Him or Nubin, they're so nice. They're so fluid. They can, oh my God. Those are the type of safeties you want to build this thing around. Yes. And we're probably going to lose Cam Curl in free agency. Give me one of them boys back there.
Hey, Cam hates me, man. It's all good.
Just solidify. One Cam but departs, another one joins the club. Cam Kinchins, Washington Commanders. Dude. Give me that in round 2. Lineman and Cam Kinchins, we leave in night 2. We live in night 2 of the draft real happy.
I'm glad you said that because I some reason I could not think of Cam. But if you watch my Senior Bowl video I did talk about defensive players I'm watching, I said I'm gonna save the best for last. I said Cam Kinchins needs to be in Washington. It screams Sean Taylor when I watch the tape, the way that he attacks, the IQ, the way he can cover the field, the way he hits, the way he catches these crazy interceptions. There was one against Clemson where Cade Klubik was throwing the ball out of bounds. Like he was throwing it away. And he slides and he catches it right before he goes out of bounds. He's sliding on his knees and just catches it. I was like, because I was watching all 22. I was like, all right, cool. Incompletion. And then I see him get up and start celebrating. I'm like, no way he just caught that.
He's a freak. He's a freak, bro.
Dude, Cam Kinchins. He's number one on defense. My sleeper is Darius Robinson, edge from Missouri. He's a freak athlete, built like Montez Sweat. I think he went from like ranked like 250th on PFF and now he's like top 70. Like,
okay.
Like he's shot up recently. He's my guy. On offense, who do you think?
Oh,
Who's your
Bucky
first?
Irvin. Bucky Irvin. Bucky, 67. Pick 67 in the draft. Our first third rounder. Sprint the card. He's
Bucky.
Jahmyr Gibbs in this offense, bro.
Yeah.
He's Jahmyr
And
Gibbs.
he can keep that 0 too. Yep.
He suffers from I need to bounce every run outside every time I touch the ball. Don't care. That guy is going to be a home run hitter. He's the Jahmyr Gibbs to the David Montgomery of this offense. Brian Robinson is going to eat in Ben Johnson's offense. Yeah. We're assuming Ben Johnson's the coach, by the way.
It's going to be Montgomery and Gibbs.
So Bucky Irvin and Cam Kinchens are my gotta have them for Washington in the draft.
Honestly, Ben Sinnott is my number one offensive guy. But if I had to pick somebody else, Bucky is super high up there too. I'm gonna switch it up.
Sinnott at the Senior Bowl, please tell him in the NFL pick a different number.
Oh, he gonna put a restraining order on me because I'm gonna be on his ass. Like, who is this guy behind me blocking? Like while I'm blocking, I'm just gonna be all up in there. I'm like, hey, you need me to carry your shoes, Ben? Like, what you got? But yeah, Ben Sinnott's probably number one for me. Dude, I would love an Xavier Leggett type receiver outside too, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm dying for somebody to help out Terry. Like you said, put Jahan in the slot. He just lost a lot of one-on-ones this season. Love Jahan. That's still my boy. You see the helmet back there. Love Jahan. Never going to stop loving Jahan.
You think
put him in the slot.
You think Leggett's going to be able to separate consistently in the NFL?
Oh, yeah. Dude popped off this year. I mean, yeah, I think any of those top 6, 7 receivers, dude, they're all huge.
They're giant.
Every receiver is above like 6'2", 200 pounds, except Troy Franklin. He's like 6'3", 180 pounds.
Yeah, he's light as hell.
Yeah, everybody. I don't know if he's going to get separation. His tree is going to be limited. But, dude, yeah, everybody else, dude, I like Xavier Leggett a lot. I just got done watching him. All right, let's start wrapping stuff up. I know you got some stuff to do tonight. I ain't going to keep you.
Sure.
Should we trade John Allen? No, I'm gonna say no.
I think we're going to. I think someone gonna poke their head out around draft time. I think he's going to see the vision here and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna request the trade, but I think somebody might pop out there with a late second round pick, and we may say, you know what? Let's take 3 dart throws in this second round, and let's go ahead and we could just draft another D-tackle and let's build the line around Payne. I think we may trade him this offseason.
If we do and we get a 2nd and 4th, you better use that 2nd on Murphy out of Texas or Javondre Sweat out of Texas. One of those 2 big boys. Like I said, I talked about them on my Senior Bowl video. Murphy, he might be the first D-tackle taken. This is a pretty good D-tackle class, but still.
You don't think Ridgeway ready to start?
No.
How about big sorry-ass Phil?
No. You better say that. No.
Big 2nd round trash can.
I need a high-end player. If we're losing John Allen, I know people disrespect the heck out of him. I think he's still good.
Chris Jenkins out of Michigan. I like Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, Chris Jenkins. Who's the other one? Leonard out of Miami. Wingo out of LSU. Yeah, Murphy's honestly my number 1 pick. Dude's a beast. I liked watching his film. Sweat one of them slow gap fillers. He ain't getting to the quarterback much.
Mm-hmm. Hell no.
Yeah, Bryce Huff, L'Jarius Sneed, Azeez Al-Shaair, are free agent picks. I'm gonna start going through some free agent stuff as soon as the Super Bowl ends. It's free agent mode. We're gonna get to spending on this channel. So hit that subscribe button. Join the membership while you're here.
Yeah, because it's harder to make free agent predictions. We don't know the schemes yet. We don't know the coaches and what schemes are going to be running like. Because now we're not going to do the former Washington thing of just signing guys and making them work. We're going to find scheme fits. Yeah.
Put him in zone. He's a man
corner. Put him in man if he's a zone corner. Like, stupid shit, man.
I think Stromberg can play center, Greg. But once again, I've said this a lot. You cannot go into next season saying, "Hey, we need him to work out."
Yeah, nope.
If he's gonna be one of them tweeners, I think he could go to center. I think he can start at left guard. It depends what we do in free agency. If we get a guy like Dotson that could go to play guard or John.
There's some good free agent centers too.
Yeah, like I said, Connor, he got hurt pretty bad at the end of the season. In Miami, probably gonna throw him a bag because he was the best center all season. But you just can't go into next season. You can't do the Ron Rivera thing and say, all right, guys, we got Nick Gates. We just really need it to work out. And then it doesn't. And you end up benching them like week 4. And you're like, well, shoot, we're screwed.
Yep.
And then all this pressure is coming from left guard and center. And I love Patrick Paul to death. He's going to be at the Senior Bowl. I like him as a left tackle, maybe in the second round. But by God, Chris was bad this season, dude.
Yeah,
bad at left guard. That was left guard and center was ugly, man.
Other than that, the line wasn't that bad, other than Wiley at times. But the line was about league average for the majority of the season this year. But we definitely
held that shit down.
We definitely got some building to do on that side of the ball. But let's see what these coaching staff we bring in is working with, so we can know exactly what we need.
Michael, appreciate you. I don't know if me and Rio can call a game for the team.
Hey, it'll be fun. We might not stay on air long, but it'll be fun.
No, I'll forget to come back at halftime or something. Like, oh, Rio, you got this, man.
The FCC gonna be on our line at some point because we talking crazy on the air. It's gonna be fun though.
I already have a lot of teams mad at me and a lot of players on the team mad at me. Like I said, if Cam Curl leaves, he gonna be happy because he hates my ass, man. Appreciate you, the other Michael. Like I said, subscribe to Rio's channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to mine. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Like I said, I go to the Senior Bowl Sunday, dude. Like that's crazy.
That's exciting, bro.
So ready for that. I'll be doing vlogs, videos, interviews. I remember last year, man, talking to Steve Avila, talking to all these guys. I posted some of them, but they told me like all the kinds of juice. They're like, oh yeah, I talked to Washington. This is what they told me. Blah 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 blah. Like Steve was like, dude, Washington said they want to draft me, and then it came out like right afterwards that we tried to trade up
for him.
Yeah,
and Mayhew was too pussy.
I was like, man, yeah. Then I ran into Mayhew and Herney were at the Senior Bowl. I talked to them for a little bit. Ryan Kerrigan sat near him on the plane, chopped up with him, kind of fangirled a little bit. So crazy. I don't know. Maybe Peters will be there.
It's crazy that we going to the Senior Bowl without a staff, bro. Like that shit is kind of crazy, yo.
Yeah, I've been waiting for like all these roster drops, and they're like talking about coaching and stuff. I'm like, we had like King there, Wharton was there. He's not our O-line coach anymore. Kerrigan was there last year. I'm like, yeah, we ain't gonna have nobody. I know EB ain't getting picked.
he be going down there, motherfucking every kid that's in that job.
I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting for these notifications to hit, but I know we don't have no representation at the Senior Bowl. Like,
it's gonna be Peters by himself with a Washington John on with some friends. Like, hey, put some polos on with a W on it, bro. We gotta look like a staff out here. Or they may rush some hires. They may announce some more hires this week, so we know.
Dude, there's something I can't say yet, but I think there's gonna be more news coming out regarding
front office structure.
Not really, but more so like, well, yes and no. More so like scouting, because there's a lot of stuff going on at like the East-West Shrine Bowl, and I've heard some intel of like who's doing these interviews, like who players are talking to, like people-wise. Let's just say it's not who it was scheduled to be.
Oh, that's interesting.
So just keep up with. I'll fill y'all in as I get more stuff through the Senior Bowl.
Juicy.
But it was scheduled to be 2 certain people at like these events, and it hasn't been. That's all I'm gonna say. It's been other names that I know, and I'm like, okay,
Barty and Carlton. That's what we're talking.
All I'm gonna say, and I know it's the Shrine Bowl and it's the Tropical Bowl and stuff, but people at the Senior Bowl talk a lot. People at Senior Bowl talk too much.
Yeah, it's like the precursor event to the Combine when it becomes officially NFL spring break out there, and it's just a bunch of chatty girls out there.
When I'm watching practice and Nick Sirianni is sitting literally right next to me, talking about guys that he likes the most, and he's pounding the table for. He's like talking to his Eagles guys. He's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. He's up there talking to like content creators for the Eagles and just giving out all this intel. I'm like, Nick Sirianni, this is a little questionable. But then you got agents talking. You've got one of my favorite moments was Tomlin running across the field to talk to a certain quarterback for Pittsburgh and talk to him for like an hour after practice when it wasn't scheduled. I mean, as soon as practice ended, Mike Tomlin's full-on sprint, just like, I mean, across the field to talk to this certain quarterback. And if you know the rosters and who's on their team right now, it kind of gives it away. Little hands, Kenny Pickett. But there's so much that goes on. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be a good time. Definitely going to fill you in. We're going to do some collabs while I'm down there as well. Appreciate you, Dave. We're going to do some more stuff chopping up. Anything you want to say as we sign off, Rio?
Hell yeah. If you guys haven't checked it out already, I had ESPN draft analyst Matt Miller on today. We broke down and ranked the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL draft class, briefly hit on the offensive line, tight end, amongst other things. We're trying to get the 10K on the channel, so hop on if you're not already a part of the channel. Come follow your boy. Me and Josh collab frequently. It's the off season, so we're definitely going to be linking up more.
Oh, yeah. This is our Super Bowl every season.
Hell yeah.
This is where we take off. And it's sad.
Bro.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Like I said, 10K is crazy, dude. You're about to hit that easily, so I'm not even worried about it. But definitely subscribe to both of our channels. We got some good stuff cooking up. Like I said, I'll be doing probably another video or 2 this week before I go to the Senior Bowl. If y'all got any questions, anything, drop in the comments. Anyone you want me to break down, let me know. But in the meantime, I'm Josh Taylor. That's Rio. Appreciate y'all stopping by the live stream. We'll see y'all next time.
Let's get it.